Hey y'all, Kentucky Farmer here, and today I've got a special video for you. I did a little bit of an experiment to see what sort of things can influence the market prices of a crop. So a few weeks ago I noticed this post on Reddit and thought it was kind of interesting. So we got Far Fanugan here who says, so I thought that things were a bit odd when my friends and I started a new MP game together. We had been talking about crop variation and prices on what would seem like the best crop. Then I noticed that after we planted the 3 starting fields with soybeans, the price drifted from about 1,500 per liter to 1,100 per liter for the most expensive. After harvesting and planting a variety of crops this time, the prices on everything have stayed fairly constant. Soybeans went from that $1,100 per liter to $1,700 per liter, while sunflowers have gone from $1,400 a liter to $1,000 per liter due to 3 large fields having planted. Looking at what crops are trending down, and the overall crop planted map shows that more crop of one kind on the NPC fields, the lower the prices of the crop if you plant it. But the price will go back up when it's harvested. Too long didn't read. Do crop rotations, because of prices, seem to be based on what crops are planted in higher quantities on each field, including NPC fields? And then we actually got quite a few comments on this thread here. We got Sandcat7. It's a really neat insight into the way the economy works in the game now. It amazes me that this kind of innovation appears to have gone completely unnoticed. I thought something had changed about the way prices worked, but I couldn't quite place my finger on it. Great find. And then we got down here, Zeran Pro. I knew it. Every time I planted a crop that had a good sales price, the crop price dropped like a brick. So we've got a few people speculating here in this thread that there seems to be some sort of correlation between what is planted and what is harvested and how that can impact the market price of the crop. So I decided to set up a test to go ahead and see if I could actually record and document this phenomenon occurring. So to start the test, the first thing I did was create a new save game. I started it on normal mode. I figured that would give me, average results, right? And of course I cheated in a bunch of money because I got to buy a lot of equipment and stuff to actually run these tests. And I also have a mod called the fast forward mod, which allows me to by pressing Control R, I can fast forward time at, I believe it's 120,000x. It makes it easier to progress throughout the day. And I just used the prices located here on the Market Prices tab, and basically just started at day 1, fast forwarded to midnight, and then I took all the prices and I recorded them into an Excel document. I've got these main columns here for each type, wheat, barley, etc. And then I've got a column underneath each one of the fruit types for each one of the locations, Denton Bakery, etc., etc. And then I went through, and for 7 days, I took 4 readings every day, once at 12 a.m., 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. And I recorded all the times, and then I went through and did the math to figure out the average min max, and then for each location, and then the overall average min and max. I also took note of any great demands, and one of the things I noticed that I thought was kind of interesting is that some of the great demands were actually for less money than other locations were paying just as a normal high price. So I kind of evaluated each one on a case-by-case basis, but in the event that the great demand was actually significantly more than a normal price that you would see at one of the other locations, I would then exclude it from the averages. Even though I was only testing one crop type, in this example we're going to test soybeans, I went ahead and recorded data for everything on the market screen. One of the reasons is I wanted to, for another video, I was actually going to compare the market prices easy, medium, and hard. But for this video, I decided that because I'm going to do this multiple times, if I record the data for every crop type, it kind of gives me a benchmark to make sure that my averages from the first recording, second recording, third recording are matching up, even for crop types other than the one that I'm testing in particular. So then after recording the initial week's worth of data, the next thing that I did is I went around and I actually cultivated every field on the map. As you can see here from the information screen, every field has been cultivated at this point. It hasn't been plowed, and you see there's no crops because everything's cultivated. And then the next thing I did is I then repeated the process, right? So I went ahead and went through the market tab, recorded all the prices for everything. I again recorded all the prices for every crop at every location over a 7-day period, once every 4 hours, and then averaged out the min-max average for each location and then for each crop type again. Once I was done with that, the next step was to go ahead and seed the fields. So I got a fleet of seeders here, and like I mentioned earlier, we did soybeans on all the fields. And one of the things I did when I was planting the fields is, because I was worried that having everything at the exact same growth stage might impact the measurements. So I planted about a third of the fields, advanced the game a day, planted a third of the fields, advanced them a day, and planted another third. So as you can see here, once we got towards the end, we had them in various stages. Some were ready to harvest, some were just recently planted, but all of them were planted with soybeans. Once I did that, then the next step was to, again, open up the markets tab and record all of the market prices. And once again, I went ahead and recorded all the prices every 6 hours for 1 week, starting from when I finished planting. And I recorded all those times for every location, for every crop type, in Excel document again, and once again computed all the averages, mins, and maxes for everything. Once we were done with that part, then we went on to the harvesting part, and because of course after 7 days everything was ready to harvest, I had crop destruction turned off, or plant withering turned off. So I harvested everything and collected it all up, and I transported it all back to my main farm. As you can see, I modified the storage facility so that it could handle the excess storage. I think by the time I was done, I had over 500,000 liters of soybeans. As soon as I had completed harvesting, the next thing I did was record the prices for soybeans. This time I did a little bit differently. I collected the same number of data points, but I only did 3 days because I wanted to focus on getting the price immediately after harvest, not averaged out over a week. So I took a few more samples per day. So once I got past that part, it was ready to analyze our results. So in this tab of the Excel document, I pull in the results from the base, after culti, after seeding, and after harvest tabs. And I was very surprised by these results. The averages, especially for the crops that I wasn't evaluating, so wheat, barley, canola, etc., they're all incredibly close. And of course, looking at the soybeans tab, once again, the prices are all incredibly close. Yes, the average for soybeans after harvest is technically lower than any of the other averages. However, it's really insignificant. And then if you compare that average price versus what some of the maximum prices that were available post-harvest, there were maximum prices available post-harvest that were actually higher than the average prices both in base, post-cultivate, and post-seed. So as far as this idea goes, I would have to say it's uh, completely imaginary. I could definitely see how you could perceive that that might be happening, but based on this testing, the prices are not impacted at all by what is planted or what has been recently harvested. So knowing this, what does impact the market price of a particular grain? If we look at this screen, Denton Bakery is currently paying the best price for soybeans at $14.40 for 1 ton, which is 1,000 liters. And so with that, let's go ahead and fill up a semi truck with soybeans here, and we're going to take this semi down to Denton Bakery. And as soon as we get here, we're going to go ahead and check the market price again. It's still at $14.40. Okay. And we're going to unload our trailer. Now, in the past, the market price would only update every hour. So if you started selling something at a particular location at the top of the hour, you had 60 minutes to go sell as much as you could at that location before the market price would then be impacted by the sale of the grain. But as we'll see here in a minute, that's not necessarily the case anymore. So now that we've sold everything, we'll go back and check the price again. If you can see, it's $11.65 now. So immediately upon selling it, we caused the market price of that grain to drop. So now let's see how far we can push this. We're going to fill up another trailer load here, and we'll check our market price screen. You can see that the Denton Bakery is still at $11.65, and the next highest price is at Maplefield Mill for $12.71. So we're going to go ahead and take this load over, and we're going to put it in the transfer station. And we're actually going to grab a second load after this so that we can fill up completely one of the rail cars. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and fill up this rail car here. This holds 90,000 liters of grain, so we're going to fill it up completely with soybeans. And once it's done, we're going to go ahead and take it over to Maplefield Mill. And once we get to Maplefield Mill, we're going to go ahead and open up the market tab, and we can see the price is still $12.85. We're going to begin selling the grain, and once we're done selling, we can check the price, and it's dropped now to $11.32. So looking again at the market prices tab, just in the time that it took us to drive back over here to the central transfer station, the price has gone up slightly on soybeans. We're going to go ahead and fast forward by an hour. There we go. And we'll check the prices again. As you can see, they've continued to increase. Now we're going to go ahead and advance time again by another hour. There we go, about an hour and a half. And again, the prices have continued to increase. Maplefield Mill's now up over 1,300. We'll again advance time a little bit more this time and check our market prices. Now we're up to 1314. And one more time, we'll advance just a couple hours this time to the next day, and then we'll check our market prices again, and now we're up to 1359 at Maplefield Mill. So as you can see, well, selling does definitely cause the price to go down. Within a few hours, most of the prices will rebound pretty well. So now we're going to go ahead and fast forward all the way to the next day, and we'll check the market prices again. And now we've got some pretty significant gains here. Look at 1511 at Gomez Ridge Acres and 1362 at Wright Agribusiness. So the market prices within, definitely within 24 hours will respond back to make up for any drops that you might see from selling grain. So where does this leave us? The results of this won't really impact the way that I play my normal games. I would never plant all the fields with one particular crop type. I always rotate through. I try to keep a even amount in my inventory of all the various crops. And but some good takeaways from this is because of the way that selling does impact the market price now, you want to be sure to sell the largest quantity you can. Don't don't take a little trailer load and sell it, and a little trailer load and sell it, and a little trailer load and sell it. Like, get a big trailer, fill it up, and go and sell it, and then wait a day, and then go sell another trailer load, or, sell a trailer load of one crop, and then go get a different crop and sell that. All right, so don't take multiple trips of the same crop, basically. Another area where this would kind of impact my gameplay is I used to rely heavily on selling when I would notice a great demand. And that doesn't seem to really be as important anymore. Most of the great demands I noticed while recording this data, the price they were offering actually wasn't better than some of the other just normal high prices I had seen for that crop. And even at times wasn't better than prices where you could sell at other facilities at the exact same time that the great demand's going on. So don't rely on great demands, and if you know you need money and you know you need to be selling crop, try to stay on top of monitoring the market prices every couple hours. Go and check the prices and know what is a good price and what isn't a good price so that you can make a good decision on when you should go and sell that crop. Hopefully you found this video useful. A pretty significant amount of time went into the actual testing and production of this video, so I actually did want it to be true. Like I wanted what you planted to impact market prices. I thought that would be cool. So it was a little disappointing that it didn't, but in the long run, I was glad I was able to get the data and glad I was able to prove definitively what the results of this is. If you disagree with my results, I welcome the challenge and encourage you to run your own tests and make a video proving me wrong. That would make me happy. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you'd give it a thumbs up. That means a lot. If you have any questions or comments about the video or the methodology I used, please leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. This video is the first tutorial I've actually done on FS17. I plan on doing quite a few tutorials here to come, and I also have a Let's Play series that I've been running on Goldcrest Valley. So if these are the sort of videos that you would enjoy, please go ahead and subscribe. And I'm Kentucky Farmer. Thanks for watching.